Most people don't realize how much of their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making millions pulling details about you from public records and the internet, then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might just sell credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/hidden. Protect yourself now at aura.com/hidden.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace.
Last year, I went through many different life changes. I needed to take a pause and examine how I was feeling in the inside to better show up for the ones who need me to be my best version of myself.
When you're navigating life's changes, Talkspace can help. Talkspace is the #1 rated online therapy, bringing you professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatry providers that you can access anytime, anywhere.
Living a busy life, navigating a long-distance relationship, becoming a first-step father, Talkspace made all of those journeys possible. I could speak with my therapist in the office. I could speak with my therapist in the comfort of my home. I was never alone.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Emotionally unavailable.
Well, we were just lamenting over fucking daylight savings. And every year, the lawmakers keep saying they're going to quit doing this to us, and then they don't.
I know. I just got an email from the Tuttle twins. It's like a history thing that I do for my kids. And they're like, do you know the real reason behind daylight savings? And I'm like, no, nor do I care, but tell me more.
It was the farmers, right?
No, that's what everyone thinks, because that makes sense, right? It was a wartime effort, and so they were conserving daylight so that people would use less of the resources to like have light and like, I don't know, like fuel or whatever they were using. So they did away with it after that war, and then the next war came around and they brought it back, and it just never went away again.
The rage I feel. The rage. Because I'm fucking exhausted. Okay, because I've been doing this thing where I don't go back to sleep in the morning after Charlie gets up, and I have to get up at 6 for that, which means it felt like 5 today.
Ew.
Yes, girl. Yes.
Bless your soul.
I know. Thank you.
But also kudos.
Damn, I need to be fucking validated for that shit because I'm tired, okay? And then I had my little puppy sleeping right next to me while I was working on the laptop, and I was like, Millie, I want to cuddle with you and go night-night. I'm so tired. And then I got done with, well, first of all, let me tell you this devastating thing that happened. I remembered to do a couple of things that were not on my to-do list, but then whenever I was done, they weren't on my to-do list, so I didn't get to mark them off. Devastating, okay? So I'm just getting work done. And then I was like, well, shit. I'm at a stopping point now, and I'm tired as hell. It was only I don't know, 11 maybe? And I still had 2 hours before I had to record with anyone. And I was like, oh no, how am I going to keep myself alive? But then Bryson got home from school, so that I re-energized a little bit. And then Brian came in, and so I got to talk to them. That kept me awake. And I had a snack. That helped. And then just now, whenever I was done, I did a recording and then a client, and I was like, I gotta pee and shove food in my face really quick. And I'm feeling a tiny bit less tired now that I'm not hungry. But I already told my family, I said, when this is over, it's nap time because I'm still doing my afternoon naps, okay? It is nap time. Nap time.
It's 7 in the evening right now.
Tuesday, so
what?
I deserve that. Yeah, on Mondays and Tuesdays I do evening clients.
Look at you.
I know. I'm so good. Anyway,
Are you a generator in human design?
yeah.
I don't know if yeah, okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I am too, but I'm still tired listening to you, so kudos.
No, I'm really tired. I mean, that's the thing is, but I was sleeping like a lot before because if I didn't have anything scheduled till like noon, I was like, I could go back to sleep till like 11:30, and I
Yep.
did, and then it made me more tired because I have to wake up when she's waking up. But then like I'd be like, have a good day at school,
Love
and I'd be
you. Night
back out. But it
night.
made me feel worse, and so I was just like getting the stuff done and then back to sleep and then back to sleep again. Like I was having like fucking 3 naps a day and then, sleeping fine at night and being like, oh, let's sleep some more. I was just sleeping so fucking much. So I was like, Melissa, you might be having trouble getting stuff done because you're never awake. So why don't you just try to wake up in the mornings? My next step is to include more exercise, but right now, just being awake is the goal. And I'm just
Yeah.
tackling to-do lists by 10 a.m. every day, and I'm like, well, damn, what else now? So then I do a little cleaning. Like I'm just working on it. But see, I knew this was coming because I'm an Aries rising and Saturn moved into Aries, so it's giving me a lot more structure and routine, and I needed it. It came at the right time. But then now we got Venus there too, and it's just a lot. It's a lot right now. So I'm tired, and we're gonna survive. That's what I know.
And you're gonna get stuff done, so it's gonna be a win-win.
Exactly. And I listen. My little Virgo stallion, my heart sings whenever I mark something off my to-do list. But then it does get devastated whenever I did something that wasn't on my to-do list. I try to put everything I know I'm going to do on that to-do list. So I'm
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
look at that. Done. And watch
Done.
the
I did
line
so many
disappear.
things. So much dopamine available today. What is this?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, I kind of thought that we could talk about, because the conversations that we have in private a lot are really like, what are we learning about ourselves right now? Because to me, that's really where like my heart is pulled to, with the show is just like, how can we show people in real time what being a human really is? And
Yeah.
so, if you're okay with it, I kind of thought I'd just ask you first, like, what you've been learning about yourself. What's some shit you've been going through that you're having to learn?
Yeah, yeah. When you said that, what being a human is really like, it reminded me of something that happened to me recently. And you know how like you'll have a memory and you're like, oh, that's good. And then it just like, phew, and it's gone. So if that comes back, I'll grab it and share. Um, Learning about myself though. So for one, I've also had the whole sleeping a lot thing for months now. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really bothered me because I'm very much a go-getter. I'm like crossing things off my to-do list. But I did recently say, well, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, this really feels like I'm catching up on sleep that I missed out on at some point. So it's not going to do any good to shame myself for it. Like I'm going to be where I'm at. And I'm realizing that when I feel better going to sleep, I'm actually getting better sleep. And so I don't need as much sleep. And so I think staying up until 3 and 4 in the morning to get work done and catch up was sabotaging me for one. And
Yeah.
so now that I'm like, ooh, I'm actually gonna like relax before bed and do things that feel good and stop shaming myself, I'm waking up feeling better, which, oh my gosh, that means I have more energy to get stuff done during the day. It's like magic. Like, who would have thought?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
for
Well, I mean, just
me,
in that idea that like allowing for your natural rhythm, first of all, and second of all, like what what is productivity to you? And I think that really is a question that's very individual, and we really do have to figure that out for ourselves, because like I was personally really struggling with administrative tasks, like emailing people. Like one of the reasons that I can't stand when somebody emails me about rescheduling or whatever instead of just using the fucking reschedule link is that like now you're making me look at my calendar, and I don't want to do that. Like I want you to just pick a date, whatever, because
yeah.
that's something that's very taxing for me right now. And so
Mhm.
I knew part of that was brain fog because of the way I was sleeping. It was the going back to sleep. Like I have no shame over a nap. I'm gonna take that nap and I'm gonna enjoy it. I take a nap every day. I've always been a napper. I love it. Even though I know it's going to wreck a little bit, like I'm not going to be in bed by 10 o'clock. I'm going to be up till midnight, but I'd rather do that and nap than not. So I'm fine with that. But I knew it really was like an evaluation for me to go, what can I shift easily that's going to make a lot of different things better than just sleep. And I was like, I'm sleeping more than I'm happy with. At first, truly, when Jake first died, I was like, whatever I need, I get. You know, like, if I need that sleep, I'm gonna go to sleep. And it wasn't like impacting me negatively. It was whenever it started to impact me negatively that I just thought, I probably need to fix that so I can see if it helps. And it does help so much that it's like worth it to do. But you're right, when we apply that shame, it just makes everything worse.
Yeah.
Are you more productive when you're shaming yourself? You know?
It's like you can't win. And that's I think what I was doing, because number one, I could never nap during the day. Like I could never. Oh my gosh. If it works for you, I'm so happy for you, and I'm a little jealous. But like it would not work for me, and I know this. And I think what I was trying to do was to fit into this mold of like, what is productive? What do I need to be doing? Oh, and I remembered the other thing. This ties in perfectly, actually. I also, in the midst of this, my bed is over there, so I'm looking over there. My studio's in my bedroom. Oh, that's awful. Now that I think about it, my studio's in my bedroom. No wonder I wasn't sleeping good.
Mine is
I was
too.
over here. Yeah. So anyway, side note. I was like experimenting with sleep, experimenting with nutrition, experimenting with working out, and all these things, and like really feeling what felt good rather than trying to cross it off the to-do list, you know, because it's addictive to do that. I also realized, big epiphany moment, that we've been sold this version of healing that's like, you have to be zen, you have to be unbothered, your emotions need to be like independent of what's going around you.
Oh my God, you're speaking my language. Yes.
And I was like, wait a minute, hang on. Like I was chasing that for a long time. And I'm like, that's not authentic for me either. Like
I've got good news and bad news. Here's the bad news. Most protein bars are packed with sugar and unpronounceable ingredients. The good news? There's a better option. I'm Will, and I created IQ Bar plant protein bars to empower doers like you with clean, delicious, low-sugar brain and body fuel. IQ bars are packed with 12 grams of protein, brain nutrients like magnesium and lion's mane, and zero weird stuff. And right now, you can get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Try our delicious IQ Bar sampler pack with 7 plant protein bars, 4 hydration mixes, and 4 enhanced coffee sticks. Clean ingredients, amazing taste, and you'll love how you feel. Refuel smarter, hydrate harder, caffeinate larger with IQ Bar.
Go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20 to get 20% off all IQ Bar products plus free shipping. Again, go to eatiqbar.com and enter code BAR20.
So you're running out of closet space. The good news? You don't need to stop shopping. You just need to start selling with The RealReal. The RealReal is the world's largest and most trusted resource for authenticated luxury resale. Whether it's that mini bag that can't even fit your phone, or those boots you never fully broke in, The RealReal handles everything from photography and copywriting to shipping and pricing. So you can just sit back, get paid, and make room for things that actually feel like you. And with 10,000 plus new arrivals every single day from top designers like Prada, Celine, Louis Vuitton, and Loewe, all for up to 90% off retail, you're bound to find something perfectly on brand to fill that extra closet space with. Plus, right now, you can get an extra $100 to shop when you sell for the first time. Make room for what feels like you. Go to therealreal.com to start selling and get your extra $100 to keep shopping at therealreal.com. That's therealreal.com. Terms apply.
Intuitive and connective person. So if I'm affected by something to the point that I'm having emotions over it and I'm not zen over it, like that's that way for a reason. That doesn't make me unstable. That doesn't. Now, if I go off and spiral, I should take a look at that. But I'm like, wait a minute. This is what makes me me. This is why I connect with people. Like when you're sad, I'm sad. I'm upset by the things that happen around me. And I think it's huge in today's world with everything that's going on. Like, don't shame yourself for that either. Like if you find yourself spiraling and unable to function, let's look at that. But if you're affected by it and you're not zen and chill and like things are actually having an effect on you, I think that's normal. And I think that we've been shamed out of that because we've been sold this version of healing that we have to be like unbothered.
And listen, yes, because here's the deal. I said it this way the other day, and I mean this. I feel like the spiritual community is causing a great deal of harm to people by saying, well, you just have to change your mindset. I had someone on last week that I had to stop and be like, and I hear you, but we're going to go ahead and give a hug to the people who hear what you're saying and think that means they're not allowed to have human feelings, because they are. And that's where I'm at. Like, the phrase that I've been using is taking myself less seriously. What I mean by that is I'm not analyzing every little fucking thing that I think or feel anymore, because I'm judging it so harshly. Like, there's been so many things. Like, I thought there was going to come a day that the things that used to trigger me were no longer going to trigger me. Ever.
Yes. Yep.
Ever.
And if there was a trigger, then that was your next level of healing.
Right. And I was going to work through it. And guess what? Guess what? No. And there's stuff that still irritates my spirit on a very deep level. And I've gotten to where I go, and you're allowed. You're a human first. And actually, I'm not airing this one episode because we could talk about that off air, but I will tell you the recording lasted 22 minutes. And I was like, okay, no. Because everything that I asked was like, well, just buy my book. Literally put the book up in the camera. Just buy my book. And that's where the answer to that was. And when I tried to get them to like tell me about their experience, totally shut down. And I was like, what the hell? But it was a very mindset thing and very spiritual and all this. That's why I said yes. I thought it would be a great conversation. Mm-hmm. But I was like, yeah, but that's bypassing. And they got defensive and said that is not bypassing. And I just stopped because I was like, okay, whatever. But I remember always, I'm a human first. If I was capable of feeling that higher self energy 24/7, why would I be here?
Yes.
What would be the point in this? Why would I experience the level of pain that I have endured in my lifetime if I just wanted to be so zen that nothing affected me? And so honestly, what the eclipses and the nodes changing and this Mercury retrograde has really solidified in me is that I don't need a spiritual teacher. I need spiritual community, but I have all the answers. And it's not like I didn't know that a year ago, but I'm just coming home to it more and more every day. That I don't need some guru to tell me shit. I know the answer for me, and I want people like you to be in community with, because it's not like I don't want to continue learning. Yeah. But this is how we learn, is hearing people share their experience and go, oh, right. Not because I know everything. I'm still learning every day. I had to literally have a pep talk with myself about this and be like, you're a human. So if that hurts your feelings, because that was the big one, that would shame me. I would shame myself for hours. If somebody triggered me in a way that it hurt my feelings, I would be like, why am I so triggered by this? What's the wound? What's the da-da-da-da? The second I surrendered and said, you're allowed, anchor in, bitch. You're allowed to be sad about that. It hurts your feelings. Okay. What's the next step? Move on. Like, move the fuck. Then I'm out of that spiral.
It's just sadness. It's not panic and sadness. It's sadness.
Yes.
Like, secret cheat code unlocked. Like, these emotions are so heavy. Okay. Crazy side story. One time when I was a teenager, I had this period of time where I would have night terrors and I would sleepwalk and sleep talk, but I would be wide ass awake. And I would be telling my parents, like, you don't understand. My sister's sick. She needs medicine. And they were like, what kind of medicine? And I was like, medicine with pockets. And they were like, what the fuck are you saying? But to this day, I still remember, because she had different symptoms and there were different things. The medicine needed to do different things. And so in my sleep-addled state, it was medicine with pockets. And I use that metaphor in my life constantly, because what you just shared, like, they're emotions with pockets and they just keep going. And once we can dig in those pockets and like pick out what's there, aside from just that one core emotion, which it's all
Yeah.
okay, right? But like the shame added on top of it, the embarrassment added on top of it, the judgment added on top of it. It's like underneath all of that is just it's just sadness. And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. And like something I was just talking to Angie about on my other show today was my latest in this installment is I had to finally surrender to the fact that for whatever reason, and I will chalk it up even to nervous system dysregulation post loss, for whatever reason, 90% of the things that people say in efforts to comfort me, it feels like they're touching a raw nerve. I don't like it. It feels icky and I just don't like it. And at first I was doing the shame thing where it's like, like if
Just
I
be
was more
grateful.
evolved or I would, yeah, like why am I still triggered in general?
Mhm.
And then especially this, like I know better. I know that they have good intentions. I know whatever. So why is it still? Because it is. Because it
Mhm.
is. Because I have all these nerve endings that are just very raw and open. It hasn't even been 3 months. It's okay. Like
Yep.
chill the fuck out. And so whenever I got to where I was like, just because it just is, then I'm like, okay. And I do have to say to myself a lot, and you're human and you're allowed. What's the next step? And that next step is what matters. The fact
Mhm.
that I'm triggered is not what matters. I'm going to get triggered for the rest of my life. If I take that trigger and I let it do what it used to do, which is give me an excuse to confirm my negativity bias and push everyone away, that would be not good. But like,
Yep.
okay, you're getting triggered. And my conscious self knows triggers are fine. That's going to happen for the rest of my life. I've always said I'm going to have to use these tools the rest of my life. But I find these little perfectionist tendencies that sneak in where I go, oh, that tool too? Like I thought
Mhm.
like, and grief just has this way of shining a really big spotlight on the things that were already there. And
Yep.
for whatever reason, this is the thing I have to go through to see these things. And I don't think it's about repairing them. I think it's about understanding that they have their place and it's fine. Like I can just surrender to the human nature of all of this and go, and that's fine. What's my next step? Just like if I'm triggered by my kid, I can handle it's not being triggered by her that's the problem. It's how I respond to that trigger. If I'm like
Yeah.
screaming at her, that's a problem. If I'm going, "Ooh, baby, you drive me absolutely crazy." That's not a fucking problem. That's not anything to be solved. I'm going to be triggered.
Yeah, and there's a layer of this too for me. So of course we know that, and my conversations often go around like what happened in childhood, what kind of relationships did you have with your parents, how did that inform later? So of course we know that if we are not being perfect, we might lose love, we might lose acceptance, we're afraid to make mistakes. Oh my gosh, now I'm triggered, I'm bad, they're not going to love me. We get that. That's a whole thing. There was another side of that same coin kind of for me of if I'm triggered, now I'm exhibiting the behaviors that I saw people exhibit that hurt me.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh no, I can't have that. Like, nope, I can't be like that because I don't want to be like them, or I don't want anyone to say, see, look, I told you, like, you're just as bad. So
Yeah.
realizing that for me has been kind of liberating in a way because it's like, well, number one, of course, then I had to have compassion for them, right? Like,
Exactly.
grateful for that.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
then I have to have compassion for me because you have to have a taste of your own medicine if you're going to be that kind person and that empathetic person and that imperfect person and that triggered person sometimes. It's like, okay, well, it comes full circle and it kind of makes all of it feel a little more okay in a way. It's
Yeah.
medicine pockets.
No, it really is because it was in those moments that I said, but I promised I would never be like that and I would never do those things. And here I am. And I can stop then and give myself love and go, and now I kind of understand why they did it. Like, it's
Yep.
not that it was okay, but I understand how it happened. And I
Hmm.
can have compassion knowing that they didn't have the information I have. So, offering that love and compassion to myself allows me to offer it to them. And I've said this before, but this is the reason that we hold other people to such high standards because it's the same standard we're holding ourselves to. Not because we ever think we're going to be perfect, but by God, if I'm not, I'm going to beat the shit out of myself for it. And
Yep.
so that's the way I'm going to handle other people too. And I do believe that that was the whole point, is to get to a place where you go, yeah, I do that too. So if I'm not going to hate myself, I'm not going to hate you. And I feel like I've really been able to apply that very liberally in the last year, especially, just to be like, well, I really love myself and I know why I make those mistakes. So I'm going to understand why they make those too. I mean, about stuff that I never would have thought that I could like just move through, but in a way that, like, it's like getting to that enlightenment that we thought we were going to get to, but like I didn't know it was
It
gonna be
would be
so
like that.
mucky, I
Yeah.
didn't know I was gonna, and it only lasts for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like you get to that
Yep.
stage and you're like, oh my gosh, epiphany, and I feel so freed by this epiphany. And then like 2 weeks later, you get a good case of PMS, and you're like, I fucking hate everyone. Why is this happening to me? Or and then I have to do the whole thing again where I'm like, oh wait, this is that thing you
Yeah.
just learned.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and I told you before how I got out of like that healing community, and I had the guru, and I was there for years, and like completely like changed my entire life revolving around this person. And this time, planetary, like everything that's happening is truly magical, for me at least. It's been intense, and there's been a few times where I'm like, what the fuck, why am I being targeted like this? Like um but it's magical. And another person recently left that community and reached out to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is promising. And we've
Awesome.
had conversations about, like you said, we don't need one person that's got all the answers. And so it's so important for people to hear conversations like this, to recognize that you have your answers that you're coming to, and I have mine that I'm coming to, and then they're melding together, and we're like, ooh, there's a deeper answer here. Let's go see who else has other
Yes,
answers. And like
yes.
that's the magic of it. And that's not going to happen if we're all zen all the time and nobody ever gets triggered. Like we're
Yes.
not going to be forming our unique opinions, which is what we're here to share with the world in the way that only we
Yes.
can share it. That's so
Yes.
special.
Yes. I had this guy on that I'm going to have on again, I think later this week. But it was really cool because after we were done recording, he said, "Can you send me the transcript? Because I don't like what comes out of me in conversations like this. I'm not always fully aware of, because it's like something's being created because of the energy that's in the room with me." He said, and then
Yes.
there's the energy of the thing that's created together that I'm not even aware of. And I was like, I needed to hear that today. And he told me about
Hmm.
this really cool study, and it gave me like a whole premise for, I needed to submit a proposal to the symposium that I've spoken at the last couple of years. And here's the truth. When I received the email this year, it's in person instead of virtual, the way it has been the last 2 years that I've presented at it. And my immediate response was to close the email. And every imposter syndrome, all kinds of it's not like I've
Yeah.
never done it in person, but this particular conference, it just scared shit out of me. And I was like, what would I even talk about? And that conversation with that guy gave me what I want to talk about. And that was part of my to-do list this morning, got my proposal submitted. But it's given me a totally different direction. And it also solidified, even with the show, how I told you, like, I want to like start focusing more on recurring conversations, more like friends talking, because this is the
Yeah.
way, like, yes, I get very lucky sometimes and meet people like you that it's instant and whatever, but I'm getting a little tired of that not happening. And so I was like, the whole point of this show was that. And so I really want to like curate that a little more, and it kind of gave me, like, it solidified that for me. And that couldn't have happened if I wasn't willing to just show up as whoever I am. And I
Yep.
think too, it really just hammered home for me the idea that, like, what community is for me and what my role in community is. And I've been saying for like a year since I got comfortable saying, like, I know what my magic is. My magic truly is translating psychological and spiritual concepts in a way that anybody who hears me can understand it. It is a gift. That's mine. Like, I'm really comfortable saying that. And that's the type of community I want, because I want to be able to hear what other people are saying about themselves and go, yeah, okay, yeah, like I am still wanting to learn and grow. And that can't happen when I'm talking to people who are only interested in promoting their book,
Yeah.
That's just not the community I want to build. But I'm really excited about the idea of more people awakening and hearing about spirituality. Like, yes, I can go really far into the woo. I am very woo. Like, I do tarot, I do all these things. But even if you just had this basic fundamental understanding of what spirituality really is, and got to pivot just a little bit about how you're viewing your interactions in this world, imagine if like more and more people got that base understanding.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a theme showing up lately in sessions with clients where I'm kind of like how you said that call helped you solidify what you wanted to propose for your talk. That's how things happen for me, is like I'll have clients that have the same themes that month, and then I'll have chats with people and I'm like, ooh, that's come up a few times now, like there's something here.
Yes.
I live in a constant state of that. Like, that's just how my life is. I'm used to it at this point, and I'm like, okay, there's a theme here. This is the overall message right now. My
That's the next
content comes
direction.
from
Yeah.
that. Yeah, like my episodes come from that. My blog posts come from that, because that's what's coming through to me in that moment.
Yep.
And I've had this theme coming through lately with clients, and it kind of like goes with what we're saying here. I feel like, oh, is it 3:30 already? Wow. I feel like there's this foundation that needs to come for people at some point, and it's not like an urgent thing, and it's not like you have to do it this way, but along with letting go of the shame and along with starting to understand what spirituality is for you with that pivot and the learning and community, we have to let go of this fear of authority and the fear of not doing it the way that we're supposed to be doing it, or not fitting in with the way that we're doing it. Like, that's coming through so strong for me lately, because there's just this fear overriding everything that's paralyzing. Like, no wonder it's been
Yes.
so difficult to have your awakening, and it's been only the woo community, and all, like there's just been walls put up.
No, you don't even understand. Me saying taking myself less seriously is me releasing that fear. Like, that's been the theme for me too, is understanding. And it's shifted shapes over the last like probably 8 months, where I started to really see, like, I think maybe this is still old religious programming, whatever, but like, I'm so afraid that I'm not, for instance, my business hasn't grown to this level because I'm not manifesting correctly, so I'm being punished, or I have this thought, so I'm being punished, all these things,
Yep.
right? And so even right before Jake died, but especially since, I've been very like, okay, what's the belief? What's the thought? Not about that, but just like, again, grief highlights what's already going on. And so, I don't know, I find myself deep in thought about things like this. And that's when I was like, I'm just going to quit assuming anything around, I'll say, bad karma, like, lessons, redirection, anything, that I'm just assuming nothing is even a redirection. Like, I am living in alignment. Now, I will say, when I was in my mental health crisis, I wasn't, and I was being very constricted, restricted, and redirected. I was.
Yeah.
Friendships, job, everything. And I have been very in alignment with my purpose, my mission, all the things for like a year and a half. So I know anything that's happening now is just something I'm experiencing, and I'm going to learn from it, and that's fine. But it's not because I'm fucking being punished. And I know that is a very deep-seated belief in me. Whether I'm saying it consciously, thinking it consciously, I know that that's deep-seated. So in this idea of taking myself less seriously, it's like, you're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. Like, just be a human. Because if you're being a human, you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do, is embrace every part of this, because you can't learn as your highest self. That's why you fucking chose to have a human experience, you know? And listen, I don't know why I chose this one. I'm real excited to find that out, but like, I did, and so here we are. But I'm releasing that fear. Like, every day it's a conscious choice to release the fear all the time. Like right now, broke as fuck, ain't gonna lie about it, but I'm refusing to believe that it's because of this or because of this. It just is what it is, and it'll work out. I'm really in the delusional right now where I'm like, it's fine, everything's fine.
You kind of have to be delusional in that way, because like you said, it is a conscious choice. I cannot even explain to you the level of like, yes, that I feel when you're talking. Like, even with me being sick, like my whole family was sick the last 2 weeks of February. It hit me. I was down for the count for days. I was like, oh my God, I slept like 14 hours a day. That was all I could do. And I'm so behind on so many things. I've told you this. I've been saying it for 2 weeks. I'm so behind. I'm so behind. And I've had this fear of like I'm going to get in trouble. Who is going to get me in trouble? I am in my 30s. Like, no, I don't know how old I am. I'm in my 30s. This much I know. Who's going to come get me in trouble for being behind on the things that I chose to do in the first fucking place? Like, so it is a conscious choice to be like, okay, that fear is there. I'm not going to deny it. The fear is there, but it's fine. It's like, I'm genuinely delusionally believing right now that it's going to be okay, because what's the alternative?
And this is what's hilarious to me about that, is that I remember the first time I learned this lesson of the messy middle, where you get two choices when you're dealing with stress. Because we always know it always works out eventually. So I can get to eventually having wrecked myself and everyone around me from stress, or I can get to eventually having gone, I don't know how, but it'll be fine. And so, yes, I think acknowledging the fear, like it comes up, like I'm getting notifications that bills are due and they're not getting paid right now. So I'm like, good, that feels good. And I'm like, that sucks. I don't like that. It feels like shit. And it's going to be fine, because it is always fine. It is always fine eventually. Right now, it's not fine. Except for in this moment, I'm fine. Like, the worst hasn't happened, you know? So that's where I really lean in, is like, okay, I felt it. I can't pretend it's not there. And I'm not going to drive emotion and meaning towards that. I'm going to drive emotion and meaning to the things that matter in life. And that it's the same lessons over and over and over.
There's actually a part of your brain, literally, like scientifically speaking, that the things that you focus on, you are teaching it to notice more of those things. So if we're focusing on the stress and fear and how behind we are and how this always happens to us, and I can't believe it, I'm being punished for something, that's what we're going to see more of when we look towards the future. And so this, this delusional belief that everything is okay, it's because future projecting everything is going to be okay, right? And even if things go shitty, us worrying about it is not going to do anything to help fix it. And so at the very least, my muscles are a little less tense. I'm able to breathe a little bit more calmly. I'm able to notice things that I might laugh about, that I might notice and be like, oh, that's cool. Like, and I'm training that part of my brain to notice the more positive things, which builds up over time, because our nervous system does not respond to pressure and severity of learn the lesson right now. It responds to repetition, consistency, right? Like experience, feeling, depth, meaning, the things that we apply each time we do this. So scientifically, we're actually on track here. Like, we're doing all the right things. So go us.
Well, and this is what my big message has been, especially since Jake died, because it's been like the number one thing highlighted for me is exactly what you just said. And actually, that's what my talk is going to be about in terms of community, is making your outer world match your inner world. Like how we will bust hell wide open to make sure that whatever narrative we're carrying is going to be confirmed. And so if you are an everything will work out eventually kind of person, and let me pause and say, if you're a person who hasn't learned how to quiet the noise of your brain yet, like you're not there yet, that's fine. Like I remember if somebody were saying this to me at that point in my life, I'd be like, great,
Oh
cute.
yeah.
How do I get there? How can
I
I
would
start to
piss.
understand? This is years of work in the making, okay. But like understanding now that I've gotten proof of that so many times that everything does work out eventually. And I got to reflect and go, I don't necessarily like the way I felt by the time they eventually came. So how can I do that differently next time? Oh,
Yep.
I'm going to lean into the joy. The more I focus on the everything's going to be okay, the more I see things as opportunities. Whereas before, a new client coming in might have stressed me out. I may not have
Yeah.
been like happy about it, but now I'm like, oh, and because I didn't let myself get so stressed that the sleeping continued, I'm awake, I'm seeing stuff, I'm responding quicker, I'm organized better. Like, so there's these opportunities I'm able to grasp onto now too that are coming in
Yep.
that weren't here a few weeks ago, but I wouldn't see them as opportunities. I'd see them as another thing on my to-do list that's not getting done. But instead, I'm like,
Yeah.
it works out eventually, and I started focusing really hardcore on opportunities. Like, I don't, because here's
Yeah.
me. This is me right now. I don't care if it's a bank account mistake. I don't care if it's someone donating. I don't care if I happen to buy a scratch off and win 10,000. I don't know. I'm not going to try to control it, but and that money going to get there soon in my little bank account. So like one of the ways that I'm like opportunities. And guess what? I got a new client on Friday who I fucking loved. Like it went so beautifully. I was so excited. Like things are working out in that way. Like that I'm going to get more and more like that. And I
Yep.
believe that. And so I'm putting that energy out because yeah, it's not that the stress doesn't every time I get a notification that this bill's going to be automatically withdrawn. Like I haven't checked my account in 2 days cuz I'm like please don't be
Yeah.
overdrawn. But like every time that fear happens, I'm like, "Whew." But you know what? Opportunities are coming and whatever. And I'm open to those right now. I'm like, send me the opportunities because I need them. But
Yeah.
what you focus on does grow. And I don't want to sit around believing that I'm a victim to this life. And it does help to be delusional too whenever I mean, being as spiritual as I am and having to lean so heavily on that to deal with grief. I think I kind of have gotten to this place where I'm like, yeah, but we're literally all going to die one day. So do you want to get there having experienced all this stress and like, ugh, and what do I want my impact to be? And, like I care so much and I've always been a person who cared about what my legacy would be. I want to change this world. And so sometimes you just got to work through whatever it is right in front of you if you want to like do the things that you feel you were on this earth to do.
And in the meantime, it's really sweet to think about like you are changing the world every time you come in contact with a person and you're a little less stressed and a little more able to smile and have a connected conversation. Like
Yeah.
it's really the small things. And I know like as a person who had diagnoses and severe social anxiety, like to the point of it was bad. Like it was bad. You wouldn't know it now talking to me.
Yeah,
But
no.
everything felt like the end of the world. Everything felt like it could end a relationship, end a job, end an opportunity. Like everything was so scary. And now it's like the small things they really matter. They really do add up and not in the negative way that we think. Although it felt that
Right.
way because it was one more
Yeah.
drop in the bucket and it was heavy. But it's like those small things towards the positive, they actually make progress a lot faster if you look back. And because I would have hated hearing people say stuff like this. I would have been like, shut the fuck up. Like, okay,
Oh,
easier said than
absolutely.
done.
Yeah, I wouldn't have believed that it was possible, and because I had
Hmm.
been a prisoner in my brain for a lot of years, and so when people be
Yeah.
like, "You just have to feel it and release it," great, fucking tell me how, because that's not working.
Yeah, I snapped at my husband a couple of times and was like, why do you never stress about anything? Like, why are you not worried about
Yes.
anything ever? What is wrong with you? Am I the only one around here that has to ever worry about anything? What is that? Some badge of honor? Like, why?
Neglect wound. It'll get you every time. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Mine gets very loud too. In fact, I just said those exact words to Brian a couple of weeks ago when we had a little scare with our new puppy. And I was like, why are you not fucking worried? I'm so fucking tired of your chill, everything's fine attitude. It's not fine. Look. And he was like, well, I just thought it wasn't going to help anyone for one more person to be freaking out. I'm like, I hated people who just acted like it's such a choice. And now I'm like, now I do have a choice. At the time, I was very much a prisoner. But now I do have a choice. And I exercise that choice. I don't always make the choice that's best for me, but I know what the next step needs to be. You know, like I don't live in misery or in victimization anymore the way I used to. But I do think what I would say about any of this, like if this was somebody's first time listening to this show and all of this is such a foreign concept to them, I would say you're like 2 steps away from a totally different life when you get the right information, and it is possible. Like you're listening to 2 people who very much never thought that they could be unchained from all of that, and we very much were and are continually doing that work on ourselves, and we're understanding more and more every day. There's never going to be a destination. We're still going to get triggered as fuck. Still going to have to use the tools. I say that and then I forget it because it doesn't look the same as it did last time. So now this time is like, oh, because honestly, you saying what you said and then me talking out loud, I was like, this is the same damn lesson I had to learn a year ago. It's the same thing. It was just different font.
But how many times have I messaged you and vented about something that pissed me off? And I'm like, am I crazy? Like, I don't know. Like, this is really bothering me. I'm bothered
Leo
that I'm
moon,
bothered.
Man. I'm telling you what. Angie's a Leo moon too. And the thing is that like we are all so used to minimalizing and trivializing our experiences and trying to overtake responsibility and be like, how can I overanalyze myself and my role in this situation so that all I have to do is fix me and then everything's perfect again. And that's why, again, I'm giving myself the freedom to go, I don't know, kind of irritated the shit out of me actually. So... And that's fine. Like, I was giving myself a really hard time, truly, about the irritations I was having over even pitches. Some of the pitches I've gotten, I'm like, you're pissing me off. You clearly haven't read the shit, or you would not be talking the way you are. I also get very offended when people lie and say they've listened to an episode because they put the title of the episode in the description in ChatGPT and had it, like, say, yeah, I particularly liked that. And I'm like... especially now, I will take it kind of personally. I get over it, but I take it a little bit personally because I'm like, pretty sure I talked about my dead kid in that episode and you're not mentioning that. Weird. You know, like I get kind of offended and then I get over it. But it's also okay that I get kind of offended. Like it's, whatever comes up is allowed. And I don't know how many times I'm going to have to give myself authority to just be. Like, I don't have to fix every last thing about myself all the fucking time. And I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say that before I recognize the pattern when it arises, you know? But
it's wearing a disguise.
Freedom. It's so free to be like, and it's the same freedom I felt when I was like, girl, you still going to be a bitch sometimes. You're going to have to just let that shit go. You're going to be a bitch sometimes. PMS is real. And sometimes you're still going to scream at your kid, you know? Like, it's going to happen. And it's that same freedom. Sometimes I'm still going to feel irritated. Oh, my God. No, not irritated. What? But it makes me question my commitment. That's the kind of stuff I'm, like, looking at. And I was spending hours, like, it felt like real work, you know? But whenever I got to no end, that's when I realized, like, maybe the lesson really is in just allowing. Like, maybe I don't have to figure out why, because there's a couple of different things that really trigger me in the same way they've always triggered me. And I was really hard on myself about it, thinking if I was as evolved as I thought I was, this would not bother me. I bet I will go to my grave with that shit bothering me. I will go to my grave, and that is fine. I'm accepting that now, and then I don't even have to question anymore. Boom, I'm out of my brain. Huh. Glory.
Well, here's my thing too. Like I even had a recent episode on this myself because I was looking at the same thing and I'm like, you know, the triggered and and I called it like silent agreements that we make with people when we are communicating with them, and being aware of the ones that we take for granted. Like we just assume that everybody has the same expectations as we do in conversation. And it's like, no, we're at totally different levels. And so like, what are the silent agreements that I make that are my character that I bring to conversations, and stand in those and hold true to those, and understand that not everybody is bringing the same ones or aware that they're bringing any at all. And so
Right.
someone may say something that's really tactless and kind of rude and condescending. And it's like, yes, let it roll off your back. Yes, it's not truly about you. Yes, you know, whatever. We know all the things. People project and people aren't self aware. But also, like, it's okay that that kind of ticked you off because it wasn't cool. That's
Yeah.
okay to feel.
Yeah. 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 And that's where I'm getting, because I guess I really did think somewhere deep in me that I still had so much work to do on myself if there was these things, even though the other part of me has always felt very committed to continuing to grow and evolve. Like, I'm preaching to people all the time, like, you don't have to keep healing, you don't have to keep fixing, you're not broken, you just
And
want to
yet we were
continue to
doing that.
return home to yourself. And then, yeah, here I am. And I think what's been a huge awakening for me, I guess, is the only way I can really say it, is the understanding that, like, those parts of me aren't broken either, and that it's okay to continue to be a human in the human experience, and however that shows up for me in whatever environment I'm in. Like, I had to do this too, for anybody listening. I had to really come home to that, about, because I still can be kind of shy in large groups. Like, I don't feel super safe, and I don't, like, I I I will fight the need to be performative, but if I'm not performing, I don't know how to just be quiet, you
I could
know?
see that. I could see that actually.
And because, like, if I get into a social situation, I'm going to be the social butterfly, blah, 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 blah. I'm not that person, really. These are the only conversations I really want to have. Like,
Yeah.
truly, I don't want to talk about bullshit, mundane stuff. I want to have deep, connective conversations. So if I'm having a bullshit conversation, I am performing.
Yeah.
I'm not good at that anymore because I don't want to. Like, I don't want to have it, so I would rather be quiet. But figuring that lane out for myself was kind of tricky. And it really took some visualization of, like, not contracted, not bracing, and just allowing things to unfold however they unfold. Maybe I do get in a one-on-one conversation that's so great, or maybe I just observe, and however it plays out is okay. But I would feel really nervous going into the situation, thinking I had to make a choice about
Yep.
how I was going to show up and what that was going to look like. And now it's just, like, about being authentic in the moment and being me, and who I am is just fine. Like, it's good enough. It's great. And also understanding that, like, the label of a good person doesn't have to carry weight. It can just be a person who's trying really hard to just, like, be the best they can be, while understanding that's never going to be perfect.
I think the cherry on top for me, I guess you could say, because every time we talk, I'm always like, I wonder what someone else would say, what someone else would bring in. Like, could we sharpen this? Like, are there other perspectives? And, I have Libra rising things, so of course. But it's like, people could even listen to this and say, oh, okay, so we all just show up the way that we want to and fuck everybody else and it'll be fine and everything will be okay. And, my thought with that is kind of the cherry on top, because it's like, do what feels good for you. Okay. And then note the feedback, the things that happen around you in your external world. That's information coming back in to help you tweak your experience. And I feel like the people listening to this are going to be, connected, conscious people who have empathy and compassion. And it's always a good indicator to look, like, are there patterns in your life? Are there relationships in your life that are uncomfortable and they're not what you want them to be? Okay. You can make tweaks, you can make changes, but also to recognize that, like, you're not the only one responsible for dynamics in relationships. Other people are too. So it's really
Yes.
freeing to realize that, like, you do kind of have to let some things go. You can't carry all of that yourself. And also, don't worry about going through the world being an asshole hurting everyone, because again, come back to what feels good and then look at the
Yes.
feedback that you're getting. Be open to that. If people are constantly telling you you're an asshole, okay, look at that. But I really don't think people that are listening to this show are going to be out there, willy-nilly hurting people just
Right.
because fuck it. So,
Exactly. And I had to come to that place for myself where I was like, okay, so if I'm going to do this radical self love thing where I truly put myself first in every situation and I speak authentically and I say things even if they're uncomfortable to say and whatever, if I cause harm, what's my responsibility? Like if that harms someone because I'm speaking my truth, how do I approach that? And I had to ask myself, well, how did it feel? Like, how do you feel after the experience is over? Is that how you wanted to feel? And if it's not, what can I do different next time? Because
yep.
I do hurt people's feelings now on accident, but that's the thing is that I can't be responsible if I used to choke on my words to make other people comfortable. And if that's what my relationship was built on, it's not meant for me anyway. And I had to really get to that with a couple of relationships where I was like, we're just both walking on eggshells all the time. And I don't understand why. And so I decided I wasn't going to walk on eggshells. Didn't help the relationship, but it helped me because
Yeah.
in the stuff that I was choking on needed to be said, and it wasn't anything like that serious. It was just so many like, is this going to upset you? Is this, and I was tired of like existing in that space. So I just started saying the things that I wanted to say. And
Mm-hmm.
I I do believe there is a difference between not giving a shit what your impact is on others versus deciding you're not going to think about the impact first all the time. Because if you are walking around in a state of love and joy and compassion, you're not going to get a lot wrong. You're just not, because there's real opportunity to grow through those things. And the more that I approach relationships from that place, the more I'm attracting the types of conversations that help you to grow and evolve, like you get to go, hey, this is the wound that hit. And then this other person gets to go, wow, wouldn't have seen it that way. Thank you for sharing that. Because I'm not saying you're a piece of shit for doing that. I'm saying, ooh, that one got me, and that really is kind of how I'm approaching life now, is just like, this is my responsibility because this is my wounding. But like, if I think about it more than 5 minutes or whatever, I'm going to have to figure out a way to talk about it, because it's okay that I'm feeling that, as long as I'm not like putting that blame on other people. But again, I think you just get through the experience and go, I kind of like the way that went. Or there's been plenty of times I'm like, yeah, I probably didn't handle that the best way. Like, I don't feel great about that interaction. I wonder how I could do that differently next time. And that's how I live my life now.
Yeah, and that delusional, like everything's going to be okay, it helps with that too with other people, because when you have that, you're not going into conversations quite as defensive. It's not like, oh my God, everybody's out to get me. Oh, now this person hates me too. Oh, like guilty. I've done it. I've been a very defensive person. And so that whole like, you know what, it's going to work out. It's going to be okay. It really lets you see other people as less of an attacker and more as like a partner here in the world, like a coexisting person.
Yes, yes. Because that's the thing, is that I really can see people now for what we truly are. And if a person comes to me and says like, "Oh, I felt this way when this happened," okay, my natural first instinct is going to be defensive. I've proven that to myself time and time again. And that's whenever I saw that the first time, I was like, okay, well, since I'm still going to love myself, here's what I'll allow from others. They can fuck up that initial response. They can be defensive as long as they come back and they go, my bad, my bad, my bad, because that's what I'm allowing of myself. And it really did shift the way I viewed those conversations, because I had a belief out for a long time, because of a lot of the therapy language, is like, when I come to you, Ashana, and I go, hey, Ashana, when you do this, I feel this. I believed the social contract that we were creating right there, is that you were never going to make that mistake again. You were never going to hurt my feelings in that way again. And you were going to care very deeply about the fact that you hurt my feelings in this way, and it would be at the forefront of your brain every minute of every day, making sure. And why? Because that is how I operated, because I was trying to keep myself safe. So I thought everybody should act that way.
That's how you care about a person, right? If I care about you, I'm going to do this thing and immediately integrate it. And okay, we're good, right? We're good. Everything's good.
Immediate.
Yep.
You'll never do it again. Boy, when I learned that lesson, I was like, oh, that was really ridiculous, Melissa, because I really saw that a lot in my marriage. Well, I fucking told you. I've told you 1,000 times. Da, 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 da. And then one day I was like, you know what? He's also told me 1,000 times it really hurts his feelings whenever I say these certain things to him. And yeah, I still do it. I do it. And so it's like, it doesn't really have anything to do with him whenever I'm behaving that way. Just like his behavior doesn't have shit to do with me. But whenever I got there and I was like, okay, actually, you are forgiven, because I do that too. But that's why we have to have these conversations, so that we can see how the hell we're mirroring everyone around us.
Yeah. Yeah, we could have a whole other episode too, spinning this off into, but what if I'm the one that's been wronged? But what if I'm the one that's been hurt and betrayed? Like, I get it. I do. It's hard. This stuff, some of the stuff that we talk about isn't easy. Like, it's simple. When you look back, you're like, oh, that was it.
Yeah.
But then it comes back around and you're like, shit, this isn't easy, man. Like, I got to work on this.
When the pattern repeats, I just would like to be able to see it sooner. That's my thing, is like, can I see it sooner so that I'm not stuck in this shit for 2 full weeks before I realize. And I won't say 2 weeks is a long time. Like, it's rare for me to be stuck in something for that long now.
Yeah.
But boy, howdy, that whole give yourself a break, quit taking yourself so seriously, that was a couple weeks worth of like shaming myself. I wouldn't have called it that, but in hindsight, I can see I was beating myself up because I was triggered. You're not supposed to be triggered.
Yep. And it's still, for me, it was still remnants of like, I have to show up perfectly in order to be a good person. Because if not, mine was deep though. Mine, I'll just go ahead and say it. Mine was like deep. It was like, my life is meaningless then. Like, there's no reason for me to be here. And then it was depression. And then it was,
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that hurts me. Yeah. Well, because if you're not this person, who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Oh,
yeah.
That made my chest hurt.
I even reached out to a couple people during that time and was like, listen, I'm reaching out because I know that's what I need to do. But anything you say right now, I'm probably still going to take it wrong, and I'm probably still going to wallow. So like, I'm just reaching out to I'm here, you're here. Okay, I'm going to go back in my hole now because I need to get through this.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you got through it, because damn, that's a rough place to be.
Yeah, that was a 2-weeker. It's not fun, but...
Well, I can see why. That's pretty deep. That'll take you to the trenches. But I think that's an important place to land, though. And I think that was probably why you were on that journey, is to see your meaning really is so wrapped up in humanity, not in your spirituality, not in your guru, not in all of the things that you're so fucking good at. Your meaning really is wrapped up in the fact that you gonna fuck some shit up, you know? And I believe you and I and the people that we are building community with, we are showing people how to be so fucking imperfect and be totally fine with it, and get that, like, we're never going to get anywhere as long as we're holding ourselves to this unreasonable expectation of perfection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I love you. I'm so glad you came back on.
I love you. When I saw that I had an interview today, I had forgotten. I know we just talked about it, but I forgot. And then I saw that it was you, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll do this one.
Yeah, girl, I was like, if it was anyone else, I'd be canceling, because I need that nap so bad. I was like, you can do it. You're going to be reinvigorated after this conversation. You can do it. You can do it. And I threw those goldfish in my mouth and said, let's do this.
Well, hopefully you feel more energy and not less after this conversation.
No, I always feel so lit up after I talk to you.
Me too.
I mean, I'm still going to have my nap. Don't play, but...
Listen, when I went to Paris, they gave me nap time every day. The people that I was visiting, they would like close me up in that guest bedroom, and they're like, it's rest time. And I'm like, oh, is it? And then I would wake up to coffee and a croissant, and I'm like, We need to do this in America. What is going on?
Listen, I've heard about this in Italy too.
I
They have
didn't
their
nap.
little
I didn't nap, but I
siesta.
rested. So they'll leave
Sometimes
work.
not
They
to do
leave work
everything,
and go
sometimes.
home at
Yes,
lunchtime to rest. And I'm
yes.
like,
This is what I'm like. Oh my God, they have it right. They have it so right, and they eat early.
yep.
Oh, I love that for them. Okay, I'm gonna press stop. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for coming to Emotionally Unavailable. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and share.
Emotionally unavailable.
All right, that's it from me. So make sure that you check out the show notes for links. And until next time, let's all just keep swimming.
INDEPE and cut.